Thank you, John. Thank you, Carly. I'm here with Maryclaire Manard and Mark Cherry, who are candidates for President and Executive Vice President of VSG. So welcome to the show. First of all, can you tell me a little bit about why you're running?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you again for having us. We're glad to be here. But Mark and I have a very simple goal, and that's basically to make Vanderbilt a little bit better of a place than it was when we first got here. In a lot of ways, we've already accomplished that goal. For example, I'm very proud to say that I led the initiative to get the Smoothie King in the Rec Center, as well as the Commodore Cabs program when I was a senator 2 years ago.
And I was happy to work on a program where student parking tickets were revoked for those students who donated to Angel Tree last December. Beyond that, we're both working on a lot of platform points that have been coming through the pipeline for the past year. Things like the AT&T cell tower, which is set to be accomplished in April. Things like the student rec renovations, too.
But we're not done yet. In fact, we're not even close. And that's why Mark and I feel that we're the most driven ticket out there. And being driven in a lot of ways is what shaped our platform and our slogan of Driven to Make a Difference. And in a nutshell, what that means is that we are going to put it all out on the line every day for the next 365 days if elected.
And can you tell me a little bit about your campus involvement outside of VSG?
Oh, certainly. Well, Mark and I are both proud members of the Greek community. Mark is a founding father of Phi Kappa Psi, and I'm a sister of Chi Omega. For me, also, I'm on the executive board of Invisible Children. I'm also a college buddy for Best Buddies, as well as a member of the Martin Luther King Day Committee and the Holocaust Lecture Series Committee.
I'm a two-time Psi leader for ASB. This fall will be my second time being a View Scepter, and I am part of Vanderbilt Political Review.
Now, but inside of VSG, both of you have been very involved for a while. Maryclaire, you particularly are part of what some might call a VSG dynasty, in the sense that in every election so far, the vice president has gone on to become the president, in the exception of the case when Adam Meyer, who was chief of staff, went on to become president last year. Do you think that this sort of dynastic handing down of sorts is a good thing for Vanderbilt?
You know, I understand that a lot of people see it as a dynasty. However, I don't. I simply see it as the right person running for the job, and the most qualified person running for the job. And you know what? At the end of the day, a lot of times that comes with the person who has the most experience. You know, it's not like we're these tyrants trying to take all the power and get free parking spots for ourselves. We don't have that, by the way. I'm just saying that's not what the case is. However, you know, we really do have, I do, and I know Mark does, we have the best interests of the students at heart. And that's why we're running at the end of the day. So yes, I understand that there can be that perception, but by no means do I feel that that's present for me, especially because when looking at Adam compared to myself, Adam and I are completely different leaders. I love Adam, but no one could be as good at being Adam as Adam. I have a completely different leadership style, and you know, and I'm very excited to show that and highlight that next year, along with my running mate, Mark.
So do you feel that your experience then sets you above and makes you more qualified than the other candidates? By all means.
By all means. I feel, you know, we definitely know where the organization has been in the past, and we know where Vanderbilt has been in the past, and we're the perfect candidates to bridge that gap of the potential that it has to go in the future to being the best that it can be for students. And I don't know if you want to add on to that in terms of experience, but Mark, you know, from a different perspective, although he is a senator, outside of that, he's sort of come from an outsider's perspective on VSG. So if anything, Mark adds a little bit of a dynamic to our ticket, and I really appreciate that.
Now, I know this past year, VSG voted to make it easier for students outside of VSG to run for the office of president, sort of loosening the requirements on candidates for that office. Do you think that this is a sort of rebuking of that sort of VSG system where the vice president has traditionally gone on?
You know, I think the reason it was, I was obviously voting for that resolution when I was a senator last year. But, you know, that is a perfect example of us simply trying to open up more as an organization. And by no means am I saying that the vice president should always go on to be president. Absolutely not. If there's a more qualified candidate out there, then so be it. They should be the ones to run, and they should be the ones to win. So I think that all this does is it just opens it up for more qualified candidates to come into the play and come into the arena. Now, for example, this year, I feel that we're the most qualified candidates. It just so happens to be that I'm the vice president and Mark's an awesome senator. But, you know, again, I think it's great the strides that we've made in the past 5 years to opening the organization up to the student body.
Now, moving on to the specifics of the platform, you two have more specific promises on your platform than any other candidate for these offices. Can you really keep all of these promises?
Well, you know, we wouldn't put it on there unless we knew it was possible. And what I mean by that is we flushed it out with every administrator or student leader that oversees those sorts of areas. So we're not just pitching points. We know what we're talking about, and we are excited to accomplish those things if elected. Now, last year, Adam and I ran on a platform with 56 initiatives. So personally, I find this to be quite a less ambitious platform than last year. But, you know, I understand that that is also something that's being thrown around, like, is this possible? But Mark and I'm going to let you speak a little bit on not running on empty promises, but, you know, that's something that's big to us. And if anything, we plan to make at least significant strides in every point on that platform, if not completely accomplish them.
Absolutely. Took us a long time to come up with every single platform point on our list because we're trying to go for unique ideas there, but took just as much time to really examine every point and make sure it was possible. We spent a lot of time making sure that every point on there is a possible goal for us and things that we feel confident we can accomplish. Beyond that, one of the things I was really happy to find out whenever Maryclaire asked me to run with her, I was really proud of her for the fact that she doesn't run on empty promises. Ever since she was running for senator her sophomore year, also as a vice president, she's worked hard to never have a point on her platform that she doesn't think she can accomplish. And then when she's elected, she works hard to accomplish every single point. She's an excellent history with that.
Mark also does a good job with that, too.
Now, one thing that has been on platforms before, and I believe it was on you and Adam's platform last year, is HDTV. And as you can imagine, it is a very popular issue with students, but will it actually get done during your administration? And how will you go about this issue differently this year, if elected, to make sure it gets done?
Well, this year, we're excited to say it's more likely to become a reality than any other year. In the past, it was sort of a matter of talking to the administrators overseeing housing and administrators such as Jim Kravka and Randy Tarkington and seeing if that's actually a possibility. This year, we've definitely come to realize that it is. And not only is HGTV the closest to technology of actually accomplishing its goal for future housing projects such as the CSAM project, but also every other on-campus housing opportunity, but also other opportunities such as increased cable and movie streaming opportunities. I don't want to get too specific because, you know, there are a lot of these things that are in the works, or depending on whether or not businesses will join with cable companies and whatnot, but it's looking pretty promising, and we're very excited about that. But that was definitely one that we wanted to make sure that we were careful about because we knew that that had been on platforms in the past. And, you know, it was on Adam and I's platform in the past, but if it wasn't, it wouldn't be where it is today in terms of there wouldn't have been strides made in the direction to actually get that accomplished for students. The administrators wouldn't have thought that it was an important enough topic to try to tackle if it wasn't on our platform in the past. And so because it was, it has given us this sort of running head start to keep it going and keep the momentum moving for next year. But we're hoping to have it accomplished by next year.
And what would you say is the number one priority on your platform? Should you get elected, what would be the first thing that you would attempt to accomplish?
You want to talk about the town hall meeting idea?
Definitely. So some of the issues that have arisen in Vanderbilt's recent history have been issues between communication between the students and the administrators. We feel that VSG should play a more prominent role in that discussion, in facilitating the discussions. Essentially, we would try to manage the town hall style meeting that occurred just a few weeks ago by scheduling a different venue where more students could be able to attend, by making sure there was streaming beforehand so students who couldn't attend could watch it at their home computers. Also, making sure that these discussions occur much earlier in the process. So that way, the administrators can be aware of the students' opinions on any sort of issues that are coming up the pipeline.
And not only that, but that goes along with another really important initiative on our platform, which is an online outreach program. In a lot of ways, VSG has tried to have these programs with face-to-face, I mean, you name it. But these have been sort of things where VSG has gone and, you know, sought out the largest organizations on campus, and let's reach out to them. Well, instead of doing that, why don't we wait and see what students need from us? And this is an opportunity for any organization, no matter how small, you know, to reach out to VSG and say, hey, we would like to have this executive board member come sit on our meeting this week because this person knows a lot about ACFE and we want to know how we can best get our ACFE application done. Or we want to have this administrator, now obviously depending on, I can't promise that Nick Zepos will sit in on all your meetings, but I'm saying we will have this administrator come to one of our meetings at least to speak and sort of give their viewpoint on this issue. So that is sort of an online outreach program where students can do that. But basically, those are two initiatives that are really big on increasing VSG's role in facilitating communication between students and administration.
Now, going back to the town hall meetings for a moment, I know that in a previous interview you said that student voice was a big issue facing the community. Do you think that student voice was being heard in the town hall meeting?
Well, you know, I think this is one of the problems that we want to address, is not necessarily that it wasn't heard, but there was so many people who were outside that door who wanted to get in that night. And you know, you think about it, you're like, why wasn't this scheduled in Langford? I know there's not an event going on in Langford right now, but you know, the reasoning why, maybe it was tactful, I'm not sure. And I'm not by any means saying anything, but I'm saying it was something that was scheduled by the administration with a purpose, and we want to be able to make sure that in the future, we're the ones to be scheduling that venue. We're the ones, you know, at the end of the day, Adam and I had, you know, gone into Kirkland and said, hey, like, this has to be streamed live, because there's no way that all the students who are expressing interest in this are going to be able to fit in Furman 114. So please, can we have this streaming? And, you know, obviously that was great for the students who couldn't attend. So continuing that to happen, but not only moderating and facilitating sort of a town hall type meeting, but bridging that representation of students to administrators. Now, you know, you can obviously poll the student body and ask whether or not student voice was equally heard. A lot of people will say yes. A lot of people will say no. A lot of people will say, you know, I still don't understand what the issue is. But at the end of the day, we're going to do the best that we can in representing every voice out there.
Right. And while we're on the subject of the town hall meeting, what is your opinion on the non-discrimination policy?
Well, as you know, as a leader for representing the students, I try to have the most, you know, encompassing view on the issue. Obviously, that's a very, you know, tough question to hit me with, but I appreciate it because I think it gives me a good opportunity to not only prepare for tonight's debate, which I hope you all come to, Commons Dining Hall, 6 p.m., but also, it is a good point because, you know, it is my role as president, it's going to be Mark's role as vice president to equally represent student voice on campus. And so, although on this issue in particular, I'm trying to take a very holistic view and approach on it, meaning I'm trying to see it from all sides because, you know, it's not, in this issue, there are a lot of students who are on one side of it and there are a lot of students who are on another side of it. But at the end of the day, I think it's irrelevant if I'm on either side of the aisle because I just need to be able to represent all students' voice at the end of the day. And I think Mark completely agrees with that wholeheartedly.
But ultimately, I think that there are people who feel very passionately about this on both sides of the issue who would say that you can't represent one and the other at the same time, that they're two conflicting ideologies. So do you support the current non-discrimination policy?
I think that I am very supportive of student groups who want to protect their religious freedom, and I can't ever ask a group to sort of change their identity. But at the same time, I also respect students who want to be able to participate in all aspects of a collegiate life. And I think that at the moment we are currently in a very tough spot in terms of whether an organization is going to be registered or non-registered. But I think that we should be as open as we can in terms of seeing how students can have access to all that they can in an organization. However, I'm also, so even though that's what my view is, that students should be able to have equal opportunity to every other student, I also feel that organizations should be able to protect their identities, and I'm more than willing to work with making sure that they still get, you know, if not full rights of a registered student organization, almost full rights. So it is, you know, a very big priority of mine, and I didn't want to put this on my platform because I knew it would be very, you know, controversial, but to get AnchorLink, which is going to be the new sort of student registration system, to have even the non-registered student organizations becoming members of AnchorLink. Because if anything else, you know, if they don't have the right to maybe reserve a room over a registered student organization, they will have this awesome technology at their hands where they can schedule meetings, where they can take polls, they can pull their organization, they can have elections on AnchorLink, and they can take roll, they can do tons of stuff. And you know, that should be a service that should be offered to all students because all students are able to make an AnchorLink profile. So why not let all student organizations be able to make one as well?
And Mark, what is your opinion on the non-discrimination policy?
I think I speak for both of us when I say that what we really support there is increasing the dialogue between those students who are for and against it. I think the town hall meeting occurred way too late in the game last year. The issue had started developing really early in the fall, and we didn't get the town hall meeting until sometime in the spring semester. In the future, what we're trying to do is make sure that that dialogue happens much earlier.
Now, back to the specifics of your platform for a moment. You mentioned working with the music group to get a better Rites of Spring experience. How would you improve the experience, and what specifically are you thinking about for that?
Well, I actually have to give credit to one of our campaign team members, Mayan Fishnoy, who is actually the chair of music group, who came up with this idea. But basically, this would sort of be connecting very large student organizations, even small ones who want to participate with music groups such as VSG, VSC, all sorts of organizations, and seeing how they can increase co-sponsorship funding or just co-sponsorship in general to not only make the acts during the weekend bigger and better and more awesome, but to increase the time that you're having Rites of Spring experience. Now, we're still looking into the logistics of what that can look like. So whether or not that's increasing the concert by one more day and adding on one more awesome act, or whether that's having events throughout the week, on a much smaller scale like what you see for homecoming, but a lot better.
And do you feel like taking this role in what is the music group's programming, do you feel like that's in any way sort of overstepping VSG's role?
No, by no means. I'm not saying that I want to determine what Rites of Spring is going to be like. I definitely don't have the connections to hit up Wiz Khalifa and say, oh, hey, you want to come down and play for Rites? By no means. I sort of found this as an opportunity from VPB and Music Group to move forward with this issue because VPB and Music Group are strongly looking for more co-sponsorships from organizations on campus. For example, I'm a member of Invisible Children, and the Speakers Committee on VPB is very much looking into having the filmmakers and founders of Invisible Children come to campus next fall. That's an example of a great co-sponsorship. Also, another Invisible Children Music Group co-sponsorship is on April 20th this year, which is Cover the Night for part of the Coney 2012 campaign, is another big way that Rites of Spring would like to co-sponsor with Invisible Children. So it's the same sort of thing. And by no means am I saying I'm going to determine what's going to happen here. I'm just saying we would like to help out to make it better for everyone. And if more people are involved, it's more of an eclectic event for all students on campus.
And another platform item that you mentioned is trying to get lecture classes streaming online. Is this actually a feasible platform? Do you feel like professors and deans are going to go along with this and allow this to happen?
Do you want to talk about your institutions?
Sure. Yeah. So when it comes to this issue, we definitely considered it a great task and a great goal. But we didn't want to put it on our platform unless we considered it to be an option, a viable option. So we spoke with administrators. They've all sort of given us the green light that it's definitely something that we can work towards, and it's definitely a possible goal. We wouldn't be trying to stream every single class. We'd be trying to stream the biggest lecture classes. Think like Intro to Chemistry. There are a lot of peer institutions that have very similar programs. Emory has a similar program. I know Princeton has a similar program too. Not for every class, but for the biggest intro classes.
Yeah, and basically to go along with that, obviously this is going to be where the interest for those classes are most popular. By no means is this going to be, an escape for students who miss class, skip class, and just get to watch it at home instead. No, this would sort of be like a supplement to their class. And if you see institutions like Yale and Harvard using this, then I think it's safe to say that Vanderbilt can do it and not have our students, skating away.
And now one final question. We'll get you out of here on this one. You've said that you are a huge Vanderbilt basketball fan, Vanderbilt sports fan. I know you said before the show that you were actually at the tournament this weekend.
Yes.
Do you think we're going to finally snap our first round losing streak in the NCAA tournament?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I am praying on it. I really am. I'm trying not to participate in any brackets because I just want to put all of my faith and soul and everything I have into us going on. Mark, this one from Kentucky here, he's a little upset, but I think that he's also hoping that we get past that first round. And, I'm very good friends with some of the guys on the team, and I know that they're extremely excited for the success they had this weekend, and I think that's going to be great momentum moving them forward. So
I would just say that basketball is one of the many areas in which Vanderbilt is better than Harvard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.